Hello. So, if you are thinking about putting in an offer on a property in Massachusetts, there are a number of documents that you are going to need to review and sign. So, we are going to go through some of those documents today. So, the first document, and if you're working with me as your agent, I would send you a message as well that outlines all of the documents and explains them to you as well. The first document that I'll go over is this exclusive buyer's agency agreement. So, this is something that's mandatory to be filled out by the buyer and the agent. It's an agreement between myself as your agent and you, the buyer. So this agreement, it lists out the term of the agreement. So typically I'll put 6 months of the agreement in here, just because if we're looking for a home together, it could take a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever that may be. Sometimes if you're paying cash, it could be a quicker transaction, but other times we could be searching for a home for 3 months, 6 months, a year. I have buyers that I've been looking for 4 years with. So we update this agreement as needed, but typically, I'll put 6 months here because then also if we do find a home, it's locking in my fiduciary duty to you as your agent through the purchase of that home as well. So it just kind of lays out my duties to you as your agent and then your duties as the buyer. And then it also discussed broker's compensation. So I know this has been a big topic lately. I would say typically, currently, the seller is paying the buyer's compensation. But this agreement is just to kind of protect both parties in that. So if the seller were not going to be paying the buyer's agent compensation, then you and I would have a discussion. So typically I'll fill out the retainer, $0. Like I don't take a retainer for showing buyers properties or anything like that. So the retainer would be $0 here, and then a success fee. So I would typically fill out whatever that is, if it's 2%, which would be paid within 30 days following the term of the agreement. So once we close, it would be 30 days within that for 2%. So that's if the seller is not paying the buyer's agent commission, then you would be responsible for that commission. So that would be something that we would discuss if the seller is not paying that. So that is the first form. Then also another form between you and I as the agent and the buyer. So this one I would fill out, I would write, I'm your buyer's agent. I'm working as your buyer's agent. And it locks in my fiduciary duties to you as the buyer's agent. Now, if I'm representing the seller as well, if I'm the listing agent on a property that you want to put an offer in on, then I would be doing a dual agency. And that would have to be an agreement between you and I. You would have to agree that it's okay that I am the listing agent, and you would have to request my services as your buyer's agent as well. And the seller would also have to agree to a dual agency. So this is just a document. It explains the seller's agent, the buyer's agent, and then it explains dual agency as well. So we would be laying out exactly if I am your buyer's agent or if I am a dual agent. So that is that agreement. And that one is signed by both myself and you. The third agreement would be the contract to purchase. So this has all of the offer information on it. So I'm going to be filling out your name as the buyer, your current address. Again, it's stating here that I am acting as your buyer's agent or a dual agent if that's the case. And then it goes into the offer information. So you are offering on 123 Main Street in whatever town. This would be your offer price. So you are agreeing to pay whatever the offer is, your first deposit, which is typically $1,000. If you want to strengthen your offer, you can do more of an offer, upfront offer, and that is delivered when we receive an accepted offer. So once you have an offer signed by both yourselves and the seller signs the accepted offer, then that deposit is due. So if you want to strengthen your offer, you can do a bigger deposit here, whatever you're comfortable with. And then the second deposit is going to be laid out here. That's typically 3.5% of your offer price. And so that deposit is expected to be deposited when you sign a purchase and sale agreement. So it kind of goes through the timeline as well here. So let's say you're doing $1,000 deposit when your offer is accepted, and then you're going to do $15,000 deposit when you sign a purchase and sale agreement. So let's say it is Monday. I'm actually going to use the real dates. It's April 11th. So let's say you're going to give the seller until 5 p.m. tomorrow on April 12th to accept or reject or counter your offer. So this is the duration of the offer. So this is saying the seller has until April 12th at 5 p.m. to respond to your offer. Now, typically we would do 2 weeks from that date for the purchase and sale. So that would be April 26th. But if you want to strengthen your offer, we could do, and you want to get a home inspection done between those 2 weeks. So we could say, okay, if we've got an accepted offer tomorrow, maybe we can do the home inspection over the weekend. And then we can do a purchase and sale by Friday the 19th. So to strengthen your offer, we can shorten that time frame a little bit, because then for closing, you're going to be about 4 weeks from your purchase and sale sign date. So that would put you at May 17th, if that's the case. So these are kind of your dates and how things work out. Depending on where you're at, you'll be the Worcester County Registry of Deeds or Middlesex, whatever the county is, that's what's filled in here. Escrow, where your deposits will be held by, typically that's the seller's agent. So I would fill in the seller's agent information here. So here's your contingencies. So a mortgage contingency. And so that will be if you're putting down 20% of your offer price. So let's see. 500. So if you're putting, that was an easy one, sorry. Okay, so if you are doing 20%, then you are getting a mortgage of 80% of that offer price. Or you would be doing 3.5%, 5%, whatever the case is. So this number here is what your mortgage will be, prevailing terms and conditions by. So this is saying that you will have a written commitment by, what I usually do is 1 week prior to closing. So 1 week prior to your closing date, which here would be May 17th. So 1 week before that, May 10th, is when you would be required to have your mortgage commitment from your lender. And then this, you have to submit an application by the same date that you sign your purchase and sale. So the same day you're signing a purchase and sale, you want to make sure that you've already submitted the application to your lender. This section is the inspection section. So it says that you will be paying for the inspection. You can choose your inspector. You would be paying that out of your pocket. And we want to try to give ourselves a couple of days before the purchase and sale is due to get that inspection done, negotiate that with the seller. So things for the inspection. So different ways you can strengthen your offer with an inspection. You could do an inspection for informational purposes only. So I never suggest waiving an inspection, just because you never know what you're going to find in a home, even a brand new construction. Inspectors are there to do the due diligence for you. They check everything to make sure that you are buying a home that's in working condition. And they even let you know when things are coming to the end of their lifespan. So if the roof is coming to the end of the lifespan, if mechanicals, whatever it may be, an inspector's job is to notify you of these things. And for first-time home buyers, it's even better too, because a lot of inspectors will even go through and they'll give you tips, tricks, facts on different mechanicals as well. So it's good to have an inspection. I always suggest having an inspection. If you're trying to strengthen your offer, you could do an inspection for informational purposes only, which means that we can still do an inspection, but we wouldn't be able to negotiate items after the inspection is done. So if something is brought up, you just wouldn't be able to negotiate those items with the seller. Another thing is you could choose a number and say, I won't negotiate any items that cost $1,000 or less to repair, $2,000 or less to repair, whatever that number is that you choose. Or you could also do an inspection and say that you will only negotiate items that are structural, mechanical, safety, or health related. So those are a few ways to strengthen your offer when you're dealing with inspection items. A lot of the times the sellers are just concerned that buyers are going to be nitpicking them. They don't want to have to do small repairs or be nickeled and dimed, basically, is the term that's used a lot. So it's just kind of to try to help the sellers out there, because that's what they're really looking for, is they aren't trying to be nickeled and dimed. So then in here, typically I'll be writing none in here, but then these additional terms, these are things that I'll write. The property should be delivered broom swept, so it should be a clean property when you purchase it. It will include what appliances are included in the sale. And then that the property is, the sale is contingent on your mortgage commitment, you obtaining a mortgage commitment, an appraisal coming in at or above the listed price or the sales price, and any other contingencies that we may have. So inspection notes, that's what I'll write in these additional terms as well. If you are requesting a seller's closing cost credit, so something to help you with your closing costs, if you're requesting that the seller give you any closing cost credit back, that will be in these additional terms as well. So that's your offer paperwork. If the seller accepts it, they will check accept, they'll sign the paper. If they reject it or counter it, typically we don't get this if they reject it, we'll just get an email back. But if they counter it, they'll put an expiration on their counter and then they'll sign that counter. And if we're accepting their counter, we would sign down there. So that is your contract to purchase. Let's see. So an escalation clause. So this explains what an escalation clause is. So this, if you choose to do an escalation clause, is a document that you would sign. An escalation clause is another way to strengthen your offer. So if there is a multiple offer situation and you are offering, say, 400,000, but you're willing to go up to 450,000, then you could offer an escalation. So this kind of explains the escalation, but then you would also be signing this provisions, which states that this is kind of the details of the escalation. So it will state the escalation amount that you will increase up to 450,000, and you will be going, oh, sorry, you're increasing, you'll say, no, what happened? So say that you'll go $1,000 above the highest net selling price of the other offer. So if there's multiple offers, you're saying you'll go $1,000, or if you decide you'll go 2,000 or 5,000, whatever it is, you'll go $1,000 above the highest offer that they receive up to 450,000. So 450,000 is the max that you will go to. And then it just details that the loan amount will be increased to, if you're putting 20% down payment, so your loan amount will be increased to 80% of the new purchase price. And then that's a document that you sign as well. So that's the escalation clause paperwork. Some other paperwork that you would be required to sign is lead paint paperwork. So for any property that was built before 1978, this lead paint package would be given to you. And this is an 11-page document explaining lead paint, what lead paint is, etc. And then the last page is the page that we would be going through and signing. So either the seller will say that they have know that there's lead-based paint in the house, and they would explain if they have any documentation, they will give us that documentation. Otherwise, they will say they have no reports or any records pertaining to lead-based paint. So then we will initial acknowledging that we have either received the documentation that they have or acknowledging that they have no information on lead-based paint. So that's the lead-based paint document. And then the next one would be seller's disclosure. This is not something that every seller does, but some sellers will do this disclosure. And this just discusses if there was any work done on the property, were permits obtained. They will talk about storage tanks, oil, heating systems. Any problems that they know of will be described in this document. And if it's public water, public sewer, private sewer, electrical, security, air conditioning. So they just go through the whole house basically and disclose any information that they are aware of on the property. So that is what the seller's disclosure is. It's a longer document, and you've got to initial every single page and then sign the last pages as well. And then the last document that you may see as well is a concrete foundation advisory document. So this one states that properties in some areas of Massachusetts have exhibited foundation problems attributed to certain minerals. So during a certain time period built from 1983 forward, in certain towns, there was this, I don't even know how to specifically say it, pyrrhotite. Sorry about I just call it the mineral in the concrete foundation. But it was used for some construction during that time period. And they have found that it causes foundation cracks, crumbling, foundation failure, etc. So any homes that may have had this, it's an advisory form. So they would be required to sign this as well. And this is something that I would send you additional information on as well to look into. just so that you know all of the information on this concrete foundation. So these are the forms that you would be sent to sign if you are putting in an offer. And if you have any questions, definitely let me know. Reach out to me, and I will be happy to go through these step by step as well. So let me know what questions you have, and I look forward to speaking with you.